Hello students, good morning. Welcome to the chemistry class. In last class, we have discussed about some of the common terms like conductors, non-conductors, electrolytes, non-electrolytes, and some metallic conductors, non-metallic conductors. But today we are going to learn about the difference between electrolytes and non-electrolytes. Okay, difference between electrolytes and non-electrolytes. So this side we will write electrolyte and this side non-electrolyte. In last class we have discussed the electrolytes are the good conductor of electricity at their aqueous condition, whereas the non-electrolytes are poor conductor of electricity at their aqueous condition or at the molten state or in the fused state. Okay, so these electrolytes are these are conduct electricity at its molten state or aqueous condition or fused state you can say. Okay, and the non-electrolytes are unable to conduct electricity. These are unable to conduct electricity at its molten state or in aqueous condition or in fused state. Okay, these are the substances they can conduct at its aqueous condition. Okay, suppose we will take an example of copper sulfate, CuSO4. Then they will conduct electricity and they will form the ions at the aqueous condition. But these are the non-electrolytes. These are unable to conduct electricity at its molten state or aqueous condition or fused state. Suppose we will take some examples of sugar in ethyl alcohol, benzene. Okay, these are unable to conduct electricity at its molten state or fused state. Okay, so next difference will be these are the ionic compounds. These are the ionic compounds and these are electrovalent compounds. These are the ionic compounds and these are the electrovalent compounds, and these are non-ionic compounds and these are covalent compounds also. Okay, they form ions. So these are ionic compounds and these are covalent compounds, and these are non-ionic compounds and electrovalent compounds, and these are non-ionic compounds and these are covalent compounds also. Okay, while conducting the electricity, the chemical properties of these electrolytes decomposes. Okay, whereas for non-electrolyte, the chemical changes cannot be happen. Okay, in the non-electrolytic solution. So the next difference will be while conducting electricity, some of the chemical changes takes place while conducting electricity, by conducting electricity, whereas no chemical changes takes place during conduction. During conduction means during conduction of electricity. Okay, this is the difference. Chemical changes happens means if you take some NaCl, sodium chloride as a electrolyte, it is a salt. When it dissociates into Na plus and Cl minus ion, so the chemical changes takes place. NaCl decomposes to form Na plus and Cl minus ion. Whereas in the urea, or we can say the ethyl alcohol, no chemical changes takes place during the conduction. Okay, so we know that the electric conduction cannot be take place in electrolytic solution, so there is no decompositions are found in the non-electrolytic solution. So the next difference will be the conduction of electricity is high. Okay, the conduction of electricity is high. Here there is low conduction of electricity, or we can say the poor conduction of electricity in non-electrolytic solution. These are the fourth difference between the electrolytes and non-electrolytes. We will discuss about some of the examples. In last class I have also given some of the examples. The examples will be acids, bases and salts. Some of the acids like H2SO4, HCl, these are the acids, and bases like sodium hydroxide, NaOH, potassium hydroxide, KOH, and salts like NaCl, KCl we can take for the electrolyte. And for the non-electrolyte, the examples will be sugar, urea, okay, then ethyl alcohol, C2H5OH, ethyl alcohol, and glucose. Okay, these are the examples of non-electrolytic solution. Okay, so these are all about the difference between electrolyte and non-electrolyte. Next, moving on to the next topic, that is types of electrolytes. So basically in this chapter there is no use of the non-electrolytes. Maximum we can find the uses of electrolytes in our regular life also. So types of electrolytes, types of electrolytes. Then how the electrolytes can be classified, and what are the types of electrolytes are found. Okay, on the basis of degree of dissociation or degree of ionization, the electrolytes are classified into two categories. This one is on the basis of degree of ionization, or dissociation, The electrolytes are classified into two types. One is strong electrolytes, and another is weak electrolytes. Then how these are defined, the strong electrolyte and weak electrolytes? Before defining the strong electrolyte and weak electrolyte, let's move on to the degree of ionization. Then what is the degree of ionization or degree of dissociation? Okay, then after we will discuss about this, what is strong electrolyte and weak electrolyte. We can easily strong electrolytes and weak electrolytes. Okay, so first of all, what is the degree of ionization or degree of dissociation? Degree of ionization or dissociation. Before knowing the degree of ionization, first of all we have to know that what is ionization or dissociation. So ionization means it is the process of splitting of electrolytes. The process of splitting of electrolytes into positive and negative charges or ions, you can say. Ions are called ionization or dissociation. Ionization or dissociation. It means the process of splitting of electrolyte. Suppose we will take an electrolyte as a NaCl. So it will split into ions like positive ion or negative ion. The positive ion will be Na plus and Cl minus, are called the ionization or dissociation. Okay, the process of splitting means separate. Okay, means division, we can say. Suppose we will take an electrolyte as a NaCl. NaCl gives Na plus Cl minus ion. So when NaCl will split, it will form the two charges or two ions. That is the positive ion, whereas consists of Na sodium, Na plus and Cl minus ion. This is called the ionization or dissociation. Okay, so basing on that, we will do. We can say the degree of ionization. What is degree of ionization or dissociation? Okay. So what is degree of ionization or dissociation? It can be defined as the fraction between the ratio of total number of molecules split into ions and the total number of molecules are dissolved are called the degree of ionization or degree of dissociation. Okay, so we can define it can be defined as the ratio of total number of molecules split into ions and the total number of molecules dissolved, or we can write the degree of dissociation can be denoted as alpha, or we can the mathematical expression of degree of ionization is alpha equal to total number of molecules split into ions whole divided by the total number of molecules dissolved. Okay, this one is the mathematical expression of degree of ionization or degree of dissociation. Okay, I again repeat that degree of ionization can be defined as the ratio of total number of molecules split into ions. Suppose we will take a molecule like NaCl, that we have taken the example while defining the ionization. Total number of molecules. Suppose our molecule is NaCl, we split into ions as a Na plus and Cl minus, and total number of molecules dissolved means Na plus NaCl. NaCl you will take in the denominator as NaCl, and they will form the ions like Na plus and Cl minus. Okay, this is all about the degree of ionization or degree of dissociation. Next, moving on to the our types of electrolyte, that is strong electrolyte and weak electrolyte. Then what is strong electrolyte? We know that the basing on the degree of dissociation or ionization, the electrolytes are classified into two categories, that is strong electrolyte and weak electrolyte. So first we will discuss the strong electrolyte. Strong electrolyte. The strong electrolytes are completely dissociated to form their respective ions. Okay, they completely dissociates. In electrolyte itself, when we will take some of the electrolyte, it is a strong electrolyte. When it dissociates, they completely ionize. They will form their respective or completely ions. Okay, so that these are all strong electrolytes. Strong electrolytes can be defined as the electrolytes which are completely ionized or dissociated, completely ionized and dissociated are called strong electrolytes. Strong electrolytes. The examples are acids. We can say that NaCl, H2SO4, okay, NaOH. Okay, these are the examples of strong electrolytes. Okay, suppose we will take how they will dissociate NaCl plus water. At its aqueous solution they will dissociate. NaCl plus water, they will give rise to Na plus in aqueous plus Cl minus aqueous. Okay, NaCl decomposes to form Na plus and Cl minus ion. The NaCl completely dissociates at its aqueous solution or in electrolytic solution. Then it will form the Na plus and Cl minus. Okay, it completely dissociates. Okay, it completely dissociates to form the respective ions like Na plus and Cl minus, positive ions and negative ions. Okay, this is all about the strong electrolyte. So let's moving on to the next type of electrolyte, that is weak electrolyte. So what is weak electrolyte? Weak electrolytes. The weak electrolytes, they do not completely ionized or dissociated at its aqueous solution. Okay, so it can be defined as the electrolytes which are not completely ionized or dissociated, or otherwise we can say these are partially dissociated are called weak electrolytes. These are called weak electrolytes. We will take some of the examples of weak electrolytes, and I can again repeat that it can be defined as the electrolytes which are not completely ionized. The electrolytes are not completely ionized. It is an electrolyte, but they cannot be completely ionized to form their respective ions. Okay, the respective ions are suppose we take some examples of acetic acid, formic acid, and hydrogen cyanide, etc. When the acetic acid dissociated, when some acetic acid at its aqueous solution, when we will add some water, then it will form, there will be a reversible reaction, or it is an equilibrium, then that CH3, the ions will form CH3COO minus aqueous plus H plus aqueous. Okay, this one is, the process cannot be complete, they cannot be completed, and it is the equilibrium, it is a reversible reaction, or the reaction it is in the equilibrium state. Okay, so this is the weak electrolytes, they cannot be completely ionized. We have to keep in our mind that it cannot be completely ionized or dissociated in the at its aqueous solution. Okay, so next we will discuss then the difference between the strong electrolytes and weak electrolytes. Strong electrolyte, the difference between strong electrolyte and weak electrolyte. Weak electrolyte. In strong electrolyte, these electrolytes completely ionized. These are completely ionized. Okay, completely dissociated, we can say, ionized or dissociated or ionized. These electrolytes are not completely dissociated or ionized at its aqueous solution, or at its molten condition, or at its fused condition. Okay. The point 2, the degree of dissociation. The degree of dissociation alpha is almost 1. So we can write alpha is almost 1. Okay. Here the degree of dissociation alpha, the degree of dissociation alpha is smaller than 1. Here the alpha is smaller than 1. So next the conduction is the electrical conduction. Conduction is high. Here the electrical conduction is low. Okay. The electrical conduction is low. So the next point will be, these are the difference between the electrolytes and non-electrolytes. The electrolytes are completely ionized, the non-electrolytes are not completely ionized. The degree of dissociation is almost equal to 1, and the degree of dissociation is less than 1. Electrolytes can conduct electricity at high range, whereas the non-electrolytes can conduct electricity at low range. Okay, so degree of dissociation on dilution, the value of alpha is decreases, not decreases, is value of alpha is remains constant on dilution. The degree of dissociation alpha increases. Okay, so on dilution the alpha remains constant, on dilution the degree of dissociation alpha increases. Okay, so next, the last point, the law of equilibrium is not applicable. The law of equilibrium is not applicable, and here the law of equilibrium is applicable. Okay, the two more points we have added. On dilution, the alpha remains constant. On dilution, the degree of dissociation alpha is increased. Okay, then law of equilibrium is not applicable because the electrolytes completely dissociate to form the respective ions, and whereas in the non-electrolytic, on weak electrolytic solution, they cannot be ionized or cannot be dissociated to form their respective ions. Okay, so the law of equilibrium is applicable. So it is a reversible process. We have already done for the acetic acid. When acetic acid is added with some water in its aqueous solution, it will form the CH3CO minus in aqueous and plus H plus ion aqueous. Okay, for NaCl we will add some NaCl with water, then it will get the Na plus and Cl minus ion, and it is completely dissociated to form the respective ions. Okay, these are all about the strong electrolyte and the weak electrolyte. The strong electrolyte, the degree of ionization, the strong electrolyte completely ionized, the weak electrolyte cannot completely ionized. The alpha is almost equal to 1, the alpha is less than 1, and here the electrical conductivity is high and the electrical conductivity is low, and on dilution the alpha remains constant. On dilution the degree of dissociation alpha is in the increasing order, and the law of equilibrium is not applicable, and law of equilibrium is applicable for the weak electrolytic solution. Okay, so in today we have discussed about the difference between electrolytes and non-electrolytes, and some of the types of electrolytes, that is strong electrolyte and weak electrolyte, degree of dissociation, ionization. Okay, and the difference between strong electrolyte and weak electrolytes. Okay, so in coming classes we will going to discuss Ostwald's dilution law and some of the topics related to electrochemistry, then Faraday's first law, Faraday's second law, electrochemical cell, then half-life period. Okay, so hope आशा करछि समस्ते बुझी पारथिबे. Thank you.